Hey, while we're waiting for that to set, I thought I might show you a couple of things that I got in the mail this week, I think it was, or maybe late last week, that I ordered. A lot of this I'm going to try and use for the finish of the guitar, but just so I can show you what I'm hoping on doing in the future. First thing I got is Tru-Oil. This is made and marketed for gun stocks, the wooden parts of old rifles and things. It was made for preserving the wood on 200-year-old collector's item rifles and things like that. But it's become really popular in guitar and bass making the last few years. You can find heaps of videos on YouTube of guys showing you how they use it and the finishes you get. What it does is darkens down the figure of a wood. It will bring out the grain. The figure will really pop, add a real luster to it, and deepen the colours. So what looks fairly faded, almost pink now, that will come down to a beautiful red. So my first idea was to do the entire body with that. But you have to do a lot of work to get Tru-Oil to provide an actual finish, like a protected hard layer, which is why we usually lacquer guitars and things like that. So I found this other stuff online. So there's I found it was a website. There's a place in Western Australia called Pitbull Guitars, and they make guitar kits, so you can buy a complete kit ready for you to assemble and paint and finish yourself. I think he's actually the in-house luthier there, a guy named Dingo Bass. He has a lot of problems with chemicals. The stuff that we finish guitars with, the poly sprays and things like that, they're really quite dangerous and really, really poisonous. So he wanted to come up with a way where you could do it a lot safer and a lot more natural. This stuff is pretty much all natural products. So it's Dingo Tone Guitar Finish, and it's a 3-step process. So you've got your stain coat, your intensifying coat, and then your finishing coat. And I bought 2 sets of it. This one is the clear, it's a natural, so there wouldn't be any actual colour to it. And this one is called Outback Sunset, and it's like a really beautiful, deep, washed red. So again, you put on your 3 stages. So your initial colour would actually stain the wood. Your intensifying, it does what it says, obviously. Sharpens the colours a bit, locks it in, and then your finishing tone puts a level of protected layer on top of that. I don't know if these 2 things are compatible in any way. Because I originally toyed with the idea of doing the basswood part of the body in the red and leaving that as it is, and hopefully that would blend in nicely. Then I thought, well, that might look a bit odd, what if the reds don't quite match up? Using the clear tone, I don't know if that will darken the top at all in any way, whereas I know the Tru-Oil wood, it will bring that red down to a real beautiful, darker finish, which is sort of what I wanted. But I don't know if the finishing coats can go on top of that, if I do that on the top and then the rest on the back. Got to do some research on that. Bought myself a few little polishing pads. I got these from StewMac, which is the main place I get all my making type stuff. I bought 3 of them, 1 for each grade of compound. You just attach this to the drill, and these are good for adding all the polishing compounds. You can actually come around hard to reach bits with them. The compounds we use, we've got them in the coarse, the medium and the fine compounds, and these are really similar to the things they use for polishing up cars with. So the coarse compound, if you've only sanded to say a 600 grit paper, you'd use that and it would remove the very fine scratches left behind. And you go to the medium and that would remove the fine, even finer scratches left by that. Go to the fine and that would, in theory, remove all of the really fine scratches, and you would just be left with some very light hazing or swirl marks, and that's where your swirl remover comes in. The result is meant to be that really deep, glassy mirror finish. But these are also designed for use with lacquers and the polys, the harder finishes. I don't know how well any of this goes over the top of things like this. So I'm going to have to do a bit of trialling. I've got a few chunks of the basswood left over where I cut the body out. So I might have to set up a line of them and just try one by one, seeing if any combinations work well. At best, I'm hoping if I can use the finishes right down to what they are and then just use the swirl remover to really give a slightly glassier effect on top of that, I'm hoping that will work. But time will tell. I'll have to do some experimenting and I'll keep you posted on it. Hopefully this will be dry soon, so I'll be able to brush that off and have a look at it. I'll get back to you. Okay, last minute update on the gap filling. So I've brushed off all the excess sand. Those obviously dark pink patches are the glue holding in the redwood sanding dust. Looks pretty rough and coarse at the moment, but see if I can get to a decent shot. Get some focus. There we are. So what I'll then do is come around with some fairly fine sandpaper. So that already feels dry. I'm just going to leave it probably overnight just to double check and sand them off, and hopefully it blends in really, really neat. Next stage is to get my rasp out and start taking in the contours here, and especially this messy bit at the back here. Sorry, always off. Going to rasp that off and blend it all into this section here. Hopefully. See how we go. Cheers.